Hey guys, Kenny here. I'm here to review the 2003 science fiction action movie, Terminator 3, Rise of the Machines. And this stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Nick Stahl, Claire Danes, Kristanna Loken, and David Andrews. The story of this starts off on August 29th, 1997, and the first Terminator that's sent back is the TX Terminator, played by Kristanna Loken. She's sent back in time from July 24th, 2004, to kill his future lieutenants in the human resistance, along with killing John. And then the T-101 Terminator, T-850 Terminator is sent back to protect him. And basically the plot is that John, Sarah, and Sarah Connor died from leukemia some years before, and John, Kate, and the Terminator have to go and stop Cyberdyne systems from being activated, because it turns out that her dad, Kate's father, Lieutenant General Robert Brewster, played by David Andrews, is the one that activates Skynet, and then that spreads a massive computer virus. And there are these T1s that attack John and Kate. And John and Kate fly in a helicopter to Crystal Peak, a military base that's in the Sierra Nevada mountains. And then that's when the TX catches up with them, and then the T-850 101 Terminator flies in on a helicopter and crashes into her, and then they have a fight, and then the Terminator and TX end up under this falling door, and the Terminator jams some kind of a bomb into the TX's mouth, and then they blow up. And then John and Kate go into this little some kind of like a meeting room, or the president's meeting room, and they hear this amateur radio picking up transmissions from amateur radio operators. Soon after the attacks at Crystal Peak, picks up transmissions from amateur radio operators in Montana's civil defense, to which John responds. This Terminator is okay, but my big problem is that Schwarzenegger's Terminator is not as intimidating as he was in Terminator 1 and Terminator 2. He's more like a clownish figure, and he seems more like a humorous character than a intimidating character. To me, this is more like a comedy movie than an action movie. And it was like the filmmakers in this abandoned all the story elements that were in Terminator 1 and 2, and they just created their own mythology. And it was like, what was the point of making this anyway? It's okay, but it's my least favorite. yeah, it was like the only good thing that came out of this was the TX, played by Kristanna Loken. I think she's my favorite character in this. Unfortunately, the Terminator really seems to, in this, seemed too boring to me. The way he was written and acted, you know, it was like Arnold didn't put all of his acting skills into it. It was he acted it halfway. It wasn't. He didn't put all of his Terminator acting skills into it. And Claire Danes as Kate Brewster. I didn't really see a point of her being in this. It was like all she was in here for was screaming. The only real reason that she was in this was because of to be in that little what looked like a communication room in the at Crystal Peak, to be with John during the nuclear holocaust. That seemed to be the only reason why she was there. Because she is annoying to me in this movie, Kate Brewster. The Kate Brewster in this is annoying. But the Kate Brewster in Terminator Salvation wasn't annoying. This is the most flawed, and out of all four of them, but it's part of the Terminator canon, so I try to enjoy it. Some of the visual effects were poorly done. Particularly the moment when the door was going down on Terminator and TX, when Terminator jams some kind of a exploding device into TX's mouth. The way TX looked there was so... it was just ugly. I didn't buy it. Then they both explode. I think once they exploded, I actually kind of felt glad. I was like, nah. This was the most disappointing. It's not terrible, but this is the most disappointing. If you haven't already, I would highly appreciate it if you would subscribe over here if you're watching the video by itself, or subscribe down here if you're watching the video on my channel. One thing that would have been neat to see was there was this Terminator 2 3D live show, and that was shown at Universal Studios. And in the film that was shot for that, they had these flying little disc kind of Terminator things. That would have been great to see in Terminator 3, but it was like the filmmakers in this abandoned all the plot elements that were written in Terminator 1 and 2 and that live show, which I never did see, and just made their own piece, made their own movie. And John Connor was more whiny in this than in Terminator 2. It was like, what was the point of him being in this as well? So I keep thinking, what was the point of making this movie anyway? I know it's called Rise of the Machines, so I forgive that. And even some of the action isn't really well done. So it's entertaining, but that really seems to only be all it's for. It's more of an action and visual effects piece instead of as the story driving it, which was the case in Terminator 1 and 2. But I do watch it. I rarely watch it, but I do watch it. So that's all I have to say on Terminator 3.